Alright guys, hello, welcome to another learning video. In the last video we saw basics, environment, workflow, and which ended with networking and security. The workflow is kind of debugging stuff, but this is not required for beginners. But once you are doing some stuff like completing your app, this workflow documents and informations are really necessary for you. So now I just restarted. I opened my React code in the VS Code, and I ran the npx expo start, and it came and it asked me, what do you want to launch? I opened the open web app because open Android is like a bit of a, how can I say, you have to set up Android emulator, and which is kind of a little bit work, but since we're just learning, we don't have to focus on Android or mobile devices. So I just opened the app, and here we go. It insta opened, and the app is there. So now we're going with the style, the design, the React Native style, your style application using JavaScript, all of the code component accepted as prompt name style, and style name values match how CSS works on the web. Alright, CSS, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. There will be a little bit YouTube videos. Make sure to look into those, because if you understand those, you know how this works. Okay, now let's copy this code, because our project looks so empty. Right, code saved. Is it gonna proceed to hard reload, or do I have to do it manually? It's not loading. Anyway, once this loads or saves, I will analyze. Oh, it compiled successfully. Oh, there we go. I guess I just have to look into the terminal. If I make changes, it shows web compiled successfully, and I guess that's the hot reload that we're talking about. Anyway, all right, there we go. We got the code. Now let's analyze the code as usual. Styles. We're getting React from React, and style sheet, text view from React Native, constant, lots of styles, constant, lot of styles, return, view, style, container. Okay, container is style. Oh, wait. Oh, this is like the view itself is mentioned as a container style, because if you remove this text will be just, how can I say, will not be having this gaps. Anyway, that's a CSS stuff, but let's not focus on that. Now text, and that text is just red, and styles is red, and as you look below, you can see the red is color red. This is style sheet, by the way. This is in CSS. This is completely CSS. just a little bit different. In CSS, you will have to create a different page, and in that page or CSS you will be recalling the style sheet into it. But here we're not recalling it, we're just literally mentioning style sheet, create container, margin, big blue and red. And the container is something that gives your margin at top 50. I'm guessing this, there's this gap here, you see. If I reduce this to 20, see that this big gap in the top, that's the margin that they're giving. If I change it to 60, it will become a little lower. All right, that's the margin. The container that they mentioned here in the view, when they start with the view, it starts with the container, and that container is a margin top 60. Okay, now it's just container stopped. It's just giving a margin top 60. That's it. Okay, now here this thing, red, this is a red. What red does is when you make this style, this will just change whatever in this text will change to red. And this is blue. What this blue does is, this is a big blue, styled big blue, color blue, font bold, font size 30. As you see, this is, now here's the twisting part here. Styles big blue, colors red, but why are you mentioning two colors? Now that's the fun part here. When you call in big blue, it will give big blue, color, font, weight, and you change the next styles to red, and it will only change it to red because no font size or anything is mentioned here. For example, font size 30, right? Now in this code, I just add font size 40. Okay, I guess it doesn't overload. All right. It just, I guess, just the color gets changed. Oh wait, I see the error. Done. Why did I change it to, let's change it back to 30. Now you see, wait, let's change it to 20. Is it bigger? I don't know. It's not changing. Okay, never mind. It just gets the red, but not the font size. I guess the size has been declared here, so it doesn't take the size. It just only takes the color red. Okay, never mind. And style red, and then styles big blue. Even if you erase this part, it won't affect this code because it's just styles blue, because reds get overwritten here, and here it's only the color gets overwritten, not the size. So change it to green. Wait, just goes to green. All right, with the size itself, only the color is overwritable, I think. Whatever. Now export default, lots of styles, and we're literally exporting this, and there we go, we got what we want. One common pattern is to make sure your component accepts styles prop, which is all right. There are a lot of common ways to text styles. Check the text component reference. All right, good. Next, height and width. All right, height, width, height, width, height, width. Nice. Fixed dimension basic. Now this is kind of pretty understandable. We have a view tab called, and that view tab have a style which is a background color. Just view. All we got is view. That's it. It's a simple explanation. Flux dimension. Use flux dimension in a component style. Shrink dynamically based on available space. Normally you will use flux 1, which tells you the component to fill available space. Nice. Now what's done here is flux 1, flux 2, flux 3. By removing the flux 1 to the pattern, the pattern dimension will not have so they can't expand. See, this flux will flux based on the overall, like this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Now if you measure this is kind of halfway, because 1 plus 2 is 3 and this one is just 3, and if you measure this is a halfway, and this is another half. 1, 2, 3. That may look a little bit simple, but yes, it's got everything. But this flux does not have anything because there is nothing mentioned. All right, person dimension. Oh, nice. It's all the same. It just, you see, width is not mentioned here, but if you mention the width, I'm pretty sure something will change. Oh wait, never mind. This is a complete height. There's no width here. All right. So this is how the height and width calculation works. Layout with Fluxbox. A component can specify the layout of its children using the Fluxbox algorithm. Fluxbox is designed to provide consistent layout on different screen sizes. You will normally use a combination of flex direction, align items, and justify content to achieve the right layout. Caution: the Fluxbox works the same way in React Native as it does in CSS on the web, with few exceptions. The default difference is flex direction defaulting to column instead of row, align content defaulting to flex start instead of stretch, flex string defaulting to 0 instead of 1. The flex parameters only support a single number. Alright. Flex will define how your item is going to fill. In the following example, the red, orange, and green views are all children in a container. View that has flux 1, that red uses flux 1, and the orange uses flux 2. The flex uses 3, which means the red will get 1 of 36 spaces. Did I just mention that in the early one? That 1, 2, and this is a 3, and this is a 3, so it's totally 6. Didn't I just say that in the previous one? Dude, once again, I'm getting sucker punched in the face. I just explained something and they just put their explanation in the bottom. It's alright. It's alright that I'm understanding it a little bit, but still. You should mention this in the early one, not on the later one. Anyway, column default align flux direction. What is this? That is interactive. Okay, let's see the code. React use state. Okay, they're already using state. Style sheet text, touchable opacity, view, flux direction, set flux direction, use state column. Alright. Return preview layout, label flux direction, values column, row reverse, column reverse. Wait. Values? Okay. This is not exactly called buttons, but this is called something else. But selected value, flux direction, set selected value, set flux direction. Alright. Style box, background color, steel blue. Okay. Preview layout. Alright, I need to read the codes a little bit clear in order to understand what's going on here. View, style, plotting, flux 1, styles, label. Okay, I need to see where the label and row is. Values, touchable opacity, key value, on press value, set selected value, styles button selected value, and styles selected. Styles button label 1. Okay. Okay, this is something a little bit not understandable, but what I'm guessing is these row reverse, column reverse, row, column is a style sheet value. I mean, it's a style sheet mentioned. As you see, the flex is 1 here, padding is 10. If I change the flex to 2, this will become a little bigger. My guess is correct. No, it didn't. Okay. Padding to 20. It's now responding. Okay. It's like, oh wait, there's a style sheet here. Oh, this is the overall. Okay, never mind. Never mind. This is the overall. Wait, something just changed. Oh, it's on the top. Okay, I'm a bit confused where this code starts and ends. Right. The thing is, this is a column, a style sheet, operator. Is that the best way to say it? A style sheet operator? And this style sheet contains a display item, which is this, and based on your clickings, it's a column, it's a row, and it's a row reverse, and it's a column reverse. And you see, these values are literally just going in the direction of the style sheet. I gotta say, this code is a little bit complicated for me right now because I do not know how the style sheet works. And this button is called the flex direction. Flex direction, set flex direction, user, use state column. Okay, this is a little bit not understandable because I don't know how the style sheet works in React Native. So I don't know how these buttons are displayed here, or these flex direction, these are working here. On press, set selected value, styles button, selected value, double equals value, and style selected. All right. Layout direction. Layout direction specifies that the direction in the chart with children and text. Laid out and start and end referred to by default. React Native layouts with the layout direction. In this mode, start refers to left and right. Okay. This is also similar. Left, right direction. Same as that one, but instead of 4, now we have 2, sorry. Wait, is the TypeScript code is a little bit understandable? Nah, similar. Anyway. Yeah, these are inbuilt methods from the style sheet, or operationals from a style sheet. Yep, now this is left and this is right. All right, alignment, I guess. Layout direction. Oh, okay, layout direction. Wait, so that's why it's called layout direction. So this is flex direction. Oh, the flex direction. Oh, okay. It's called flex direction. This is called layout direction. This is called layout direction. That's called flex direction. And justify content. This is simply a layout builder based on the clicks. Start and center. Wait, center is not there. Space around, space evenly, space between. Interesting. This is also another inbuilt from the style sheet. Listen, Just like these colors, powder blue, sky blue, steel blue, this flex start, flex end, flex center is also another inbuilt React Native things, because React just does not have these sort of things. Or maybe it does, I don't know. So style sheet. All right. Align item, flex start, flex end, center, baseline. I think it's all the same code. It's just they call the functions a little bit different. Yeah, it's all the same code. Now, stretch, flex start, flex end, center, baseline. Yeah, it's all kind of similar code with a little bit changes. Why stretch is only stretching the bottom one, not all of them? Let's look into it, dude. Should I look into it? Should I look into the stretch? Give me a minute, let me look at the colors. Only powder blue and sky blue is here, and the steel blue gets something called auto width. If you put end, if you put center, if you put flex, if you put baseline, it does not auto width. But if you put stretch, it auto width only in the default. Because you see, these are just called style, and this is the only thing called, only mentioned background color with all width auto mini width 50. If I mention these two, here, something's messing up. You know what? Never mind. Let's not touch this. Yeah, successfully changed. Yes, baby. Yes. Anyway, align self. Align self has the same option, and the effect has the align items, but instead of affecting the children within a container, you can apply this property to a single child to change its alignment with its parents. Align self overrides any option set by the parent with the align items. What? Align self? Right? That's kind of interesting one. You just simply give align self and it changes, because in the early one we had this width auto, but here we have this align self, and this is literally, you put it on the left, it aligns. You put a flex start, it just goes to base, flex end, and it just moves to center, baseline. As you notice, only this align self affects the blue one, not others. So the align self is align self just for this align self, because we change the align self here, but if we put this align self value, and never mind, it's just assigned to single one. Let's not assign it to the other. Mess it up, right? No. Try. Now everything is a center. Why the stretch is an auto with this not here? So yeah, there you go. There you go. That's how you understand the code. The align content flex starts. How many aligns are going to be there? Touchable opacity. I believe this has something to do with the Android and iOS device, but let's not dig into it. Okay. Flex start, flex end, stretch, center, space between them, space around. All right. The align content, I believe we've been looking into certain types of aligns. I mean, align items, align. Oh wait, there's here. Align items, align itself, align content, align. Yeah. Layout. Now this is a line, and that's it. Flex wrap. Flex wrap properties set on containers, and it controls what happens when children overflow the size of the container. Along with the main axis by default, children are forced into a single line, which can shrink elements if wrapped around. Nice. Wrap, no wrap. It's like it's very useful. This wrap is really useful if you're having an image or some data that exceeds a way to bottom and you have to scroll it. And you use this, you avoid this. It's not applicable for us now, so let's just agree. Okay, wrapping, good wrap, clap hands. Let's move. Flex, basic, grow and shrink. God, that is something. Ten. Okay, 5, 2. Oh, I see. Shrink. 2. Oh wait, this is auto, but this is 100. So if I change this to 200, this one will auto shrink, and if I change this to 300, the other two will shrink. If I change this to 500, alright, never mind. Let's change this to auto. Change this to auto too. Does not make sense, but leave it. Let's leave it to that. This is a test of like options you have to shrink what you want to shrink. Auto shrink, flex grow. 1, 2, something like that, and change all to 1. They all will be equal. 1, 2, 3. They're all equal now. Even if you change this, nothing will happen. I change this to 100. Change this to 50. Change this to another 100. or 10, whatever, never mind. Row gap, column gap, whatever. I think all these are kind of comes in the style sheet. What I'm more surprised is that this text input changes the value. Let's look into that, shall we? What is the flex shrink and flex scroll value? What? No, man. Let's not dwell on it. Row gap, column gap, gap. Same code, but with a different function. Alright, width and height. The width property specifies the width of an element contained area. Similarly, the height property specifies the height of an element's contained area. This what is called, wait, this is called width and height, but this width and height is based on this content. You change it to 80% and you change it to 60%, so it just literally wraps around it. So that means it's an auto width. Oh, never mind. I clicked auto. Oh god. Auto 200, 380%. Height values set width. Alright. Good to know. Same style box. Children with type, height type, width values, height values, set width, set height. Alright, if my guess is right, the React have this touchable opacity, which let the user themselves design or choose their preferred design. I guess it's a common thing in the mobile app. In the website, no. For example, this is a web app and you click what you want to click. Deployment, contribute, community showcase. But mobile app have flexibility, which you can move the development to here and change just the block to here. Those sort of flexibility, I believe, but I'm not sure. So fine. Relative, absolute. Oh my god, this is literally CSS. We're learning CSS. The design itself is CSS, but we're literally looking at a little bit different. Anyway, absolute and relative layout. This word relative, now it hits me because it was something in the HTML course, I believe. It was not in the CSS. It was in the HTML course. How can I say relative position, absolute position? That changes the display of the content you're trying to show. But let's not get lost. Going deeper, check out this yoga plugin that you can do better understanding of Flexbox. Interesting, but I'm not gonna do it now. Alright, if you want to understand the Flex layout a little bit more, you go here and you experiment with them and you design with them and you understand what they do to have a better expert in the layouts in the Flexbox. But I'm gonna close it for now. Interesting, man. Interesting. Alright, let's move to images. Image source require my icon. ReactNatvie provides a unified way of managing images and other media assets in your Android and iOS apps. To add a static image to your app, place it somewhere in your source code tree and reference it like this. The image name is resolved the same way JS models are resolved. In the example above, the bundler will look for my icon PNG in the same folder as the component that requires it. You can use the 2x fix provide image. For different screen densities, if you have the following structure: button.js image check. Wait, what? What are we looking at? Button.js? Don't tell me you have to add this in the asset. There are images in the asset, but I don't see the button.js. But let's not get worked up. And the button.js contains, okay. Here's some benefits you get. Windows, you might restart bundler to add a new image to your product. But here are some benefits. Your JavaScript code, the components are self-contained. No global namespace. You don't have to worry about name collisions, and only images that are actually used will be packaged into your app. Adding and changing images doesn't require app recompilation. You can refresh the simulator as you normally do. Images can be distributed via npm packages. In order for this to work, the image require has to be known statically. Alright. Static non-images. The require image syntax described above can be used to statically include audio, video, or document files in your project as well. Most common file types are supported, including MP3, BBs. You can add support for other types by adding an asset resolver your permission metrification. The cabinet is a videos must as absolute precision instead of flexible. Alright, image from hybrid app. Image the Android asset use asset scheme. Okay, for Xcode you use this, for Android you use this. Okay, without extension. And for Android you need to use the file extension like PNG, JPG, etc. These approaches provide no safety checks. It's up to you to guarantee that those images are available in the application. You also have to be specify image dimensions manually. Network images, many of the image you will display in your app will not be available at compile time, or you will want to load some dynamically. Good, bad, because you determine the height and width. Network request for image. Oh my god. This is something a little bit interesting because you're importing the image from a source and getting the image and displaying it here. URI data images. Sometimes you might be getting encoded image data from a recent API call. You can use the data URI scheme. These images work the same. You will need to manually switch with the dimension of your image. They include at least width and height. Okay. Cache control iOS only. In some cases, you might only want to display an image if it's already in the local cache. Okay. Okay, this is like do not store image in the local because it will increase the size of the app. That's what they're trying to say. Force cache if only if cached. All right, local file system image. See camera roll image. Best camera roll image. Why not automatically size everything? The boss of React Native, this behavior is intentionally not implemented. It is more work for the developers to know the dimension or aspects of the removed image in advance. I will believe it leads you a better user experience. Static images loaded from the app bundle require. Syntax can be automatically sized because their dimensions are available immediately at the time of mounting. Well, what they're saying is you're literally giving a size to the image, but why not put it just auto scaling? Because people are not going to be this main thing is a mobile app. A mobile contain there are small mobiles, there are bigger mobiles. So if you put a smaller image on a bigger mobile, and the image quality will be bad. But if you put a bigger image on a smaller phone, and the image quality will be too thick and the file size will be too heavy. So why don't we leave it to auto scaling? Because it will scale the image and display it as it needed. So the quality will not be lost, and I'm not sure about the size requirements, but it's okay. Source as an object. In React Native, one interesting decision is that source attribute is named source doesn't take a string, but an object with a URI attribute. Huh. Okay. Instead of just putting source and the image name, you put a URI. That is, we're just literally choosing it. Okay, background image, we are nesting. A common feature request from developers familiar with web background image. To handle this use case, you can use image background component, which is same as the props image, and whatever a child on it to you feel like the layer on top of it. You might not want to use the image background in some cases, since the implementation is basic. Refer to image background documentation for insight and create your own custom component when needed. Okay, you can put background images, but they say it is not recommended. Maybe that's something we'll understand when we make an app, I believe. Off-thread decoding iOS border radius styles. Please note the following corner specific border radius style might be ignored by iOS image concept components. Off-threading image decoding can take more frame more time. is one of the major source of the frame drops on the web because decoding is done in the main thread. In React Native, image decoding is done on a different thread. In practice, you already need to handle the case when the image is not downloaded yet, so the displaying the placeholder for a few frames while it's decoding require any code change. It's like when an image is not loading, there will be a small icon saying the image is not loaded. That's what they're mentioning, but it's alright. Configure iOS image cat limits on iOS, be explicit API or React Native default image cat limit. This could be called within your app to neglect code. Cat limits, alright. Parameters. It's like you mention how much catch from an app, but this is not totally something that you need to be aware of. But if you, when you're testing your app and you see there are some image loading takes time, or the image size is too big and it's slowing down the app, that's when you need to put a catching limit in order to avoid very slow apps. Alright, color reference. Components in React Native are styled using JavaScript color. How usually Match CSS works on the web guides. Yep. Color APIs, platform. Alright guys, this is simply CSS. The color, what is this code called? Yeah, RGBA. You can use the code when you actually recommend the code, so it's kind of good. Alright guys, wait, should I also complete this and end the video? Yeah, let's do that. Handling touches. Alright, press me on tab, you tabbed. Where's the console? I don't see the console. Well, anyway, it's just a button. Touchable highlight, touchable native feedback, touchable opacity. This is something we were looking at earlier in the layout. These are all touchables, also known as interactable. Navigating between screens. Mobile apps are rarely made up of a single screen. Managing precision of and transition between multiple screens is typically handled by what known as a navigator. Install setup. You need to community solution to navigate a standalone library that allows developers to set up screens of app within a few lines of codes. So next, install required P dependencies. You need to run a different command dependencies, whether you're part of Expo managed or regular barrier. If you have Expo, if you have React Native, For hours, bar React Native, make sure you have CocoaBot installed and installed. Alright guys, this is a little bit of alright, multiple pages, and you need different dependencies for it. Animated API, the animated API is designed contact only express. You can also use your own animated created component, for example, container fade like this. I don't see anything. It's not animated, but it's okay. Let's break down what's happening in the fade in view constructs animated value called the fade in anim. Fade anim. It's part of its initiative, so this may happen behind scenes. When the component mounts, the opacity is set to 0, the easing animation start and fading animated, which will update all the dependencies mapping. In this case, we'll only one frame, one each values 1. Let's just say transitions. This is a transition, and that's how they're calling it here. Animated view, duration, timing. Yeah, it's a transition. Configuring animation. Elements are heavily configurable, custom, predefined, easing function delays. All right. Composing animations. Animations can be combined, played in a sequence in a parallel sequence. Animation can be immediately after the previous animation has finished, or they can start after a specific delay. The animated API provides several methods such as sequence, delay, and each of which take an array of animations to execute and automatically call stop as needed. Okay, these are transition commands. You call an image or a text to be animated, and this is how you do it. They call it animation, but it's all right. It's transition, which you do it like I can't come up with a better explanation, but let's just say PowerPoint, or oh yeah, let's just say Instagram status, WhatsApp status. They're all designed similar like this. If you click on WhatsApp, and the WhatsApp will design, WhatsApp status will show whatever they have set as a status in an animated event. That's an animated event. Either it's a video or a text. It will simply load, and the timing will be a little bit. Timing is the default how they have already set it up. Something like that. Okay. This is something that you have to see. That very interactive. That's what I'm talking about, people. Mobile app. You need all these things in your mobile app to look more effective. Pan responded animated. These are something that's in the React Native, which we have to learn very well if you want to make a style looking very interactable. Yeah, their interaction. They just said it, interaction. Okay. All right. This may be something that we have to like come back after we making application. These documents will be very more useful for us if we are going to design something. All right. Best practices to make your app feel great. Every action that should follow under the feedback highlighting shows up as a what. Cancelability. When making an action, the user should be able to abort the mid-dragging from their way. Good, good, good. Touchable highlight and touchable. Yep. Yep. Responding. All right, let's just say these or something like sliding, double tapping on your monitor, something like that. That's what this gesture responder system. If they press the power button, do something. If they press volume up button, do something. That's what this is. On response, you do something. Props on start. These are all the commands for better responsive. Accessibility. When true indicates the view, both and integrate assistive technologies like bundle screen reader, voiceover, talkback, ReactNatvie complete AB buzzer that will let you app accompany to all users. When true indicates that the view is inaccessible, the element when our view is in accessibility, the element that group accessibility true. I get a feeling this is a big, very big. Yep. All right. Testing voiceover support, testing talkback support. These are really a little bit advanced stuff. So this is also this interaction and inclusion. These both are something you may have to come back in the future. All right, guys, that's it for design. Now we're moving to performance. I get a feeling these are not something that we need right now because we haven't even made an app. That's what's surprising. These guides are not guides at all. They're literally just mentioning stuff. Anyway, I get a feeling all these we will go all these in one go, but for now we just finished with design.